Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nilesh Ralvi and you are watching Techie Programmer. So today in this video, we are going to talk about inheritance in Python. So let's get started. Let me just open up my PyCharm and this is the notes. I will be giving the link to this in the description so you can just check out and let's get started. So talking about inheritance, inheritance allows us to define a class that inherits all the methods and properties from another class. So we are going to understand first thing is the parent class and next is the child class. So parent class is similar to a normal class which has all the properties, parameters, etc. and it has multiple definitions which we can use. Then we have a child class which inherits or it has all the properties that a parent has. And then we can also have additional definitions, functions into the child class. So let's have a look at the parent class in this example. So here I have created a class called person, and here I have an init function which initializes the f name and l name, and then I have a function called printIt which just prints the first name and the last name. So let us this stuff, the creation of the class has been discussed in the previous video. If you have not followed through, just check out the previous video on this. So let me just show you how we can create an object here again. That is p1 is equals to person, then passing the first name and the last name, then print p1 dot fname, then it stands like p1 dot fname equals fname, so it just prints fname, that is Techie. And here coming down p1 dot print it just goes here. You can just see we are calling a function, so it goes here, checks for a function called print it, then it does what it says. So we have basically created a class right now. Now we are going to treat this as a parent and create a a child class. So in order to create a child class, it's similar to a normal class again. We just write class, the class name. Then in order to inherit, what we do is just pass the class name that it should inherit from. So if I want to inherit from the class called person, then I just pass person here and then a colon, then rest is like whatever the normal class we do. So here you can see then if you are going to define a init function in your class, in your child class, then what you need to take care about is whenever you define a init class in your child class, then Python, like this, how it works is whenever you define an init class, then it just skip this part and just inherits everything, leaving this initialization. So in order to make sure that you inherit the properties that are associated with the init functions in your parent class, you need to use this line of code. So which says initialize, use or include the person dot underscore underscore init and the parameter that it takes. So what I just mean is from the person, if I just go for an initialization, then it just skips this part, and if you want, like if I want to access the fname again, I need to redefine them here, and I can skip that part by just saying to make initialization from my parent class, that is the class name dot then the init function, and then passing the parameters. So now here I have the both initializations done, and then I can even take the extra additional parameters here, that is grad. I have just taken an example of grad, and I can just define self.grad, and I have said define grad year, then it takes a self, that is then just print self.grad. So let us see this example, how we created an object and how we run this, or how the execution takes place. So in order to create an object for this, the child class, we can see I have just written the name of a child class here, student here. Then it takes the parameter that takes the three parameters. So one is the f name, l name, and the grad. So what I'm passing is Techie Programmer 2020. So what happens here is whenever I run this function, so it just goes here, then it says person.init for self, f name, and last name. So it goes to the person.init, it comes here, then it just initialize these two parameters. This just does work on this, then comes down, next line is self.grad equals grad, then just initialize self.grad to grad whatever we passed, that is 2020 here. Then what happens when I try to print s1.print it? So okay, so it comes here, it checks for print it, so there is no available printed function here. Then it checks in the parent class, checks out here. Yep, here it's present. So what it does is it does what it says, that is print self.fname, then self.lastname. So coming to the last line here, line of code, that is s1.grad year. Whenever I call this, it comes here, it checks for graduation year. Yep, it's here. So what it does is it does what it says, that is print self.grad. So this is how we inherit. This is a parent class, this is a child class, and we were successfully able to inherit the properties from the parent class to the child class. So this is called inheritance. Let me just run this. So here you can see, if I just show you the line by line. So this is print, that is print of f.name, that is techie, and then p1.printed, that is techie programmer here. And here we also called it once again on the child class, so it printed again techie programmer, and then s1.grad year, this is print dot this, so we had passed 2020, so it just prints 2020. So I hope you understand how the inheritance work, and that's it for today. If you have made up to the end, do make sure you like, share and subscribe, and that's it for today. See you in the next video.